Welcome to the place where we learn about and learn from the leaders in our field who are powering creativity. I'm Aaron Dworkin, and this is Arts Engines. Thanks again for joining me here on Arts Engines. Today's guest is Corie Benton, who serves as president-elect of the American String Teachers Association. Corie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I am so excited to talk to you. Obviously, my own relationship and partnership with ASTA, as we like to refer to American String Teachers Association, and Sphinx's partnership just goes back literally decades. And it truly is an extraordinary community of passionate, dedicated teachers, educators, and obviously just driving not only our profession today, but the future of music and especially of string music. So I am very excited to talk with you today. I thought first what might be helpful, you could kind of just share with our audience, anyone who might not, be fully familiar with ASTA, just kind of the global, kind of overarching sense of ASTA, kind of the breadth or kind of the drive behind the association itself.
Sure. Hello, everybody. ASTA is the American String Teacher Association is a wonderful organization of various and diverse educators from around the country, and our goal is to advance string playing, string teaching, and string learning. So in different avenues. It's not only through the classroom, it's also through performance, it's also through scholarship. So the goal of the organization is to bring string education to anybody and everybody. So
Awesome. Awesome. Absolutely. And just is so important. And so, in this day, and time in our nation, there's been some shift, that people have experienced relating to things, whether it's referred to DEI or equity or include any of the components, diversity, etc. And so what I want to kind of see is what's kind of your sense, and especially coming into this leadership role specifically for the string profession. How does ASTA view the importance or role of diversity and or of varied voices in the profession?
it's definitely challenging for everybody. And I think what I'm very happy to say is that even before I became a part of the board, diversity and inclusion and access have always been something that I've known for ASTA. And there are people who, what I love about it is it encompasses, our membership encompasses people who are, we consider experts in the field, and people who are just starting out, or people who are in college. And so one of the things that I love about the organization is that we are really working and striving to continue the work that was originally done in saying, when we say everybody, we mean everybody. And so whether, you love Bach, great. But whether you also love bluegrass, great. Whether you love jazz, great. And if you love one of my personals, gospel, also great. It doesn't matter if your program has 30 people or 300 people. We want to be a source for you. We want to be a place for you to find community. We want to be a place for you to be educated so that you can continue and improve whoever you teach, wherever you teach them. So it's not just for what we considered the traditional classical musician. It's for anyone who picks up a string instrument and plays it.
Absolutely love that. And so, are there, sometimes in our field and society, there's pushback to a variety of things, right? And so, sometimes people will be like, well, the traditional string, history, these are the composers who must be studied, etc. These are either shouldn't be studied or off to the side, or curious, how do you view that, but also how do you equip, or what would you say to the teacher out there who wants to have that breadth but might be experiencing that pushback themselves?
I would say, a lot of people say we're going to do the thing. One of the things I do like about the organization is that not only are we saying we put it as part of our strategic plan, like these are the things we're going to do, and it's in writing. So this is what we are holding ourselves accountable to. I did grow up. I grew up with a very strong gospel background and R&B background, and so even though I know that there was the traditional, you have to do the standards. I also did have a teacher who allowed us to play all different kind of stuff that and opened our minds to, it's not only this, it's not only that. So for example, rest in peace, Richard Smallwood. I remember playing Richard Smallwood and hearing him as a kid and thinking, oh, classical and gospel, two things I love. So I appreciate that we have communities in our organization that address some other, what we consider alternative. And I don't know if the problem can be verbiage. It's like, this is the standard, you have to do this. Okay. But also there is validity in all music. And we are still trying to, I think, even not just ASTA, everyone's trying to figure out, what do we call these things? How do we categorize these things? And that takes its time, and people will do that. I just say, just play the things, and we'll figure out what we call them later. So I love that we are still working on. Now, do we have it all? No, we're still in the process of working on it. Like for me, this past conference, I was super excited that we got to play the Hallelujah Chorus version, the Quincy Jones. And we played it at conference, and it was just amazing. I mean, my heart was full. So I was super excited. And I think that what I bring to the organization is the idea that I do love the standards. Yes, of course, Sibelius is one of my favorite composers. However, again, like I said, I do love a Richard Smallwood. I still do love a William Owens, that we played a piece by him. Just contemporary composers, what we call something new. And then I got the opportunity to see Sphinx when they were in Kentucky, and my mind was blown. And it's not music that I grew up listening to. However, it's amazing. So we're still working on what do we call that, and how do we make sure everybody has the opportunity. But the platform is open. We're open to have in all genres of music. So I do appreciate that, and we're continuing to work on that.
Absolutely. And sometimes, and I think about this role that string teachers play, because I think, well, first, I have my own, by the way, just beautiful memories of the gigs I had the opportunity to play with Richard Smallwood. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun, truly amazing. But also, when I was 11, I started playing the violin when I was 5, but when I was 11, my dad got a little pickup. I put the pickup on my bridge, but I was then exposed to Jean-Luc Ponty and Stefan Grappelli, and so had that, and in part, it was right a string teacher who gave me that additional path. I still was doing everything, and my debut was with the Bruch Violin Concerto, etc., with the Hershey Symphony, and doing those things. But I was wondering, kind of, is there a way that the association views the role of string teachers in not just giving permission, but kind of opening these doors for young people to be able to explore? And just curious if there's thoughts about that or a sense of that and empowering teachers to do that.
We have different committees, and we do have a committee called Eclectic Styles. So a lot of it, at some point, a lot of it was rock and fiddle. Well, that doesn't include everybody, and so that committee has really opened up, and they're still open to people bringing in different ideas. Like I said, we had some gospel this past year, and we also have these different initiatives within. So we have Jam Ambassadors, so people who would like to bring in a different version of string playing or a different genre of string playing, and they have the ability to. So we don't limit it. It's not one of those you can only do it if you are 45 and blah blah blah. No, we're open to it, and we will continue to be. And I think it's, again, all of it is growing and evolving. But people who come and say, I want to do this thing, like, okay, well, let me connect you to the person who is doing that thing. And then we can create something, because you're not the only one doing it. There are other people. And it continues, word of mouth, or people coming to different webinars or conferences or whatever. And they've seen, oh, okay, so it's not just for this particular type. Oh, I can also be included. And I think that's very important. For me, that's really important. I want people to be a part of the organization who didn't even realize they should be a part of the organization. And then we have
Awesome.
something to offer for you.
Awesome, awesome. And backing out, just kind of in terms of the totality, string music, string teaching. Just when people say, "Oh, well, there's all of these different things or competing things for young people to do, etc." Do you have a sense or a view of the role of string music in our nation, kind of at this time when we're celebrating 250 years of the nation and all that, and just that sense of the role of string music.
Um, when I think at a certain point, people were saying, why do you want to play this music from old people and old dead people? And I thought, well, because it feeds my soul. It feeds my soul. But I think what and I'm going to say string education, music education, in collectively, we teach so much. I mean, there's always the sciences of what the different maths and sciences, and you can get into that. But also, we teach community, self worth, work ethic. And we teach, a big word would possibly be, I don't know if you want to get there, but citizenship. We teach all of those things within playing your instrument. You can be a soloist, but before you become a soloist, you're generally with a group. What is your role in the group? How do you exist in the group? How do you support? What is your personal responsibility? What is your responsibility to the group? How can you bring forth your ideas? So we are just a version of what students need to have or what people need to have, period. How do we live our lives? How do we exist with others? How do you do that? How do you tell someone, hey, you're out of tune? And how did that communicate to, hey, you may not be doing the right thing in life? How do you communicate that? You know what? You shouldn't eat that third donut or the fifth
Right.
donut. Or for me, that other cup of tea. Sorry.
Right, right. No, no, absolutely. And I love that connection. And it is so true. It is so just inherent in our instruments and in our music making. So unfortunately, we are just about out of time, but I always like to ask of all of my guests, this work, obviously I can just see, right, the joy. It's just inherent in you and,
Oh,
and
thank you,
exudes,
David.
which is so wonderful. But there also must be tough days, right? Or days where things just aren't going right, or it seems some challenge can't be overcome. And just curious, especially in the leadership role that you have, are there any mechanisms or things that you do when times are the toughest that get you through?
Yeah. Well, my day job is a K-12 teacher, and so that comes with its own challenges. And I am 30 years in this game. So, as a K-12 teacher during the day, I really have to tell myself to step back from the moment because we get caught up in the details, and I am one of those people that sometimes get caught up in the details, and I step back and I really take a view of, yes, this is the bad thing, but what is the good thing? And trying to find the good thing and speak positively to myself as well. I think that's very important for everybody to be kind to yourself. We always compare ourselves like, I'm not Aaron, I can never be Aaron. And that's great because Aaron is Aaron, but Corie is Corie. And keeping that idea, just being realistic and kind to myself as a leader, understanding that whatever my goal is, I'm a goal setter. So I write down things that I like to do. And sometimes I need to go back and revisit, especially when the days are tough or when people say something that kind of hits my spirit in a negative way. I go back and say, okay, so what is the goal? And is this taking me from it? And am I acting or is my reaction within my normal character? If it's not, then you need to step back for a second, go watch I like to drive. I go drive, I go uh, wherever my happy place is, probably buying a purse, I will admit. So I go to my happy places and I just take a step back. And then, do those things, rejuvenate with the things also that keep me solid, which is my family. My family keeps me grounded, and I keep separate my family life and my work life. It's very important for me. So,
Corie Benton, you truly are one of the arts engines who is powering human creativity in our world. Thank you so much for everything you do, and thank you for being on the show.
thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to meet you in person. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
you.